Alessandro. Hello, dear. Hello, Beyon. Reese. You guys beat the heck out of Excalibur and David. These two are sleeping. Spain and Texas have gone bullfighting, I guess. There he is. Talk about the speak of the devil. Well, Excalibur, you've been busy with bullfighting in the ring, and these guys, just the three of them. You and David gotta go training. So I hope you guys have your tea or coffee or whatever you guys are into ready and enjoying it. We'll have in an hour together and enjoy a bit of a discussion and conversation, and then we'll go about the rest of our day, and you guys will probably hit the sack and sleep, as it should be almost pretty late there. Yes, Reese, definitely personal best. Yes, yes, yes. Hello, Paul. Well, there has been much contendance today. Not too many competitors. I think the hour is a bit late and everybody is sleeping in Europe. But nevertheless, you got the win, that's for sure. Number what? Number 3? Did you make it number 3? Yeah. Looks like, you know, the system has to choose something. The three of you might have come together, but Alessandro hit it first, and right after Boyan, and then Reese. Anyhow, that's quite enjoyable to have a little fun here. Excalibur is now threatening Alessandro by saying he's a marked target. Okay, Boyan says, "Sir, I just wanted to use this moment to say thank you for your guidance. I started working for a new company yesterday, and in a few months, I hope I start my business again." There we go. There we go. A proud moment for me and you and everybody else. I am proud of you. Proud of you. Good for you. Good for you. Destiny is not necessarily written in all cases. Whatever will be, but yet, in the meantime, we can tweak this and that and influence the direction that our life is going. Only if we just, this is very philosophical what I'm about to say, but it's just coming from thousands of years ago, and I want you guys to pay attention to it. Only if we just get off our asses and do what it takes. That's a very old philosophical secret message. And Paul says, everybody like the live. Yes, please click on the like, guys. And by the way, Excalibur says, Mehran, there is the... There we go. Yes, promotional manager. Paul, appreciate it. Now, guys, have you guys noticed the thumbnails? As I mentioned yesterday, was it Alper has been graciously helping me to send me designs of a new thumbnail, and he's kindly receiving the list. I've been working on it last night to shorten the long titles for the thumbnails. We leave the long titles as the name as it is, but on the thumbnails we'll have the shorter version, and the thumbnails look great, I really think. So, and I've changed some of them because Alper sent me some empty design ones, you know, so I can fill in the words as I go. It's like a you know, something that I have to do as a routine as I go along. See, oh, this one I can change this. It doesn't take long anyhow. So we are on the process, and just thought if you guys have taken a look at it, tell me how it looks. Now, guys, yesterday we had like maybe 16 people, but we only had 14 likes. So what happened? You guys been sleeping on the job. All right. Joe says, after being away from my country for 6 months, I came back to my country and now feeling sad after a breakup. Being away from home helped, but now I think about it more and more. Well, because you know that the geographical area that you have somehow supposedly escaped from is not really where things are happening, is not where the breakup concerns are. It's not limited to a geographical area. That's why going away, it's a good buffer, but it's not supposed to mean that it also creates distance between what may be of your concern and where you are, because everything that is happening is in here, is up here. So wherever you go, this goes with you. So you got to deal with it at the roots, and the roots are your consciousness. So you got to understand, why is it that you feel that way? Why is it that you react and act that way? Why is it that you feel devastated? And why is it that you think this thing is such a big, humongous, life-breaking deal, a breakup? If you really understand, your pain comes from conditionings, the change in the order of life, the mechanical process changes in routine, your understanding of your need to be more, and one of those things that makes that happen for you is having a girlfriend, being in a relationship. If you understand all these and understand that your reactions are many of them based on many different levels, and some levels are your fears, your ego, the desire keep refreshing itself every time you think of her, which we talked about it, that every time you think of her, and the pictorial memory comes from your memory into your mind about your girlfriend, with it all kinds of emotional files having to do with being prerequisite for desire to be born comes along with it. And even though you're no longer touching her, having intimacy with her, or looking into her eye and interacting with her, which are some of the prerequisites of desire to be born, but all those steps that needs for desire to be born had already been recorded and exist in your memory. So when you think of her, those files, prerequisite for desire to be born, also along with the pictorials and the lovey-dovey memories, come with it to forefront of your mind, and you react to it emotionally, as these are emotional files, and then you feel like as if all the prerequisites for desire to be born is been redone, refreshed. And because it's refreshed and there are steps for desire to be born, then the desire is again born into your mind, and you have a hard time thinking, why do I miss her? Because you're constantly having desire to be refreshed and reborn because of thinking of her, because of all those memory files. Prerequisite for desire to be born also comes along with it, fulfills the requirements for desire to be born, without you really actually wanting this to happen. But because you remember her, then the rest of it will come. So right there, you should be able to cut off the files that it's not supposed to be accompanying. Become aware of all the nitty-gritties and all the negatives and all the challenges and divisions and conflicts that were also part of this relationship and are included in your memory as files. Bring those files up too and see the whole picture, and then the desire will not be born because you will stop it from the files coming up and from you actually focusing and paying attention and entertaining these emotional files, prerequisites for desire to be born, you will stop it. When you stop that by focusing on these information is not now, is not real, these are memory, and you need not react to it, and need not focus it, and you need to focus on the stuff that wasn't good in the relationship, as well as you're focusing on the lovey-dovey stuff that is in your memory. Then you will bring a balance to the whole entirety of the story and the picture, and then you will be aware that this is not what you really want, and in fact you want to focus on life as it is now and interact with the life as it is now, and then see it happen as it's happening, and then flow with it and go further away from this which by default makes you feel like if you want to have that to be part of your life again. So when you remember all the things about that relationship, then you have a better chance to understand. You don't need to react to it. You don't need to feel it's devastating. You don't need to feel you miss it, because it's not all good. That way, you'll see the differences and problems, and you'll also focus on those, and that will propel you to go further to achieve the goals that you want to achieve and go on your path on this journey that you've embarked on. Okay. Yes, Excalibur. We're 19 away from 14,000. I think the live talks has been helpful to bring us a little bit higher in the algorithm, possibly. The thumbnails are helping, and the new little videos that I've been promoting on Facebook, it's been also bringing attention. So, and you guys sharing the videos is the most important part of this thing. That is obviously is helping. So kudos to you all, to us all. And Coleman says, how to show my confidence to my date? Simple. Don't try to show your confidence to your date. Just be who you are. Just be. Just interact. Don't try to impress her. Don't try to be overly funny. Don't try to be anything that you're not. Just be you. That being you creates a resonance of calm, because you're not trying too hard by having, it's like trying too hard to play a music, a violin or a guitar, to make emphasis on certain sound of it because you want to really do good. And that really trying to do good, you pluck the string a little bit too hard, or you use the fiddle a little bit too long or too pushed on the strings, and it actually makes the sound rough. The resonation frequency goes higher than it should. It just takes the whole thing out of its balanced production and balanced flow, proper flow. So it is the same in your behavior. When you have that mentality that I want to impress her, you try too hard, you look differently, everything will be exaggerated. It's like an actor who wants to act but is overacting. Then everybody would feel like this is not real and this is not natural. And everybody would feel and hope that, oh, yeah, I hope the actor will actually act it right because he's really trying too hard. So you try to act for him, everything becomes awkward. So in other words, in a nutshell, don't give a damn. Be there, be cordial, be nice, be you, and have a good time. See if you can accommodate her, if it's agreeable to you. Otherwise, don't turn yourself into a little poodle running around trying to make sure that whatever it is that you can do for her, so that shows your confidence. No. Or don't try to be aggressive or an asshole to show your confidence, or rude. No, be a gentleman, be a normal guy, just having being on a date with a girl. That's it. What do you think she's expecting? She's expecting a proper, kind, normal interaction with another human being that she's accepted to go on a date. She's not doing you a favor, and you're not doing her a favor. It's just two people seem to want to see if they like each other. Don't try to impress her. Just impress yourself. Be yourself. Be you. And she will feel it. And that's all. Would you have, listen, would you have liked it if you see that she's trying too hard, she's trying to show confidence, and for that she's going to disagree with everything you say, and rather than actually, she might actually agree with it, but just she wants to show she's confident, she's her own person. She'll overdo it, and you will feel it. You say, what the hell? This is not real. What is she trying to prove? So, prove nothing, through which you have proven everything, which you are you. Simple. Don't make it like it's a, I don't know, final exam of a university or something. Just be friendly. Do your thing. Okay, Paul says, I feel weird to make a move on a girl. Well, don't make a move. Interact. You know? Don't make a move. Just interact. What do you mean by making a move? You mean just say something? Introduce yourself? Even if she obviously likes me, do you have any advice on how I can change it? Yes. Don't put her on pedestal. Don't think she's anything different than any other girls, or she's any different than you. Look, what really makes you nervous is like a dog dangling a meat in front of him and he's worrying about if he's going to get it or not. Don't do that. You are seeing this girl and your hormones come into the picture, and you see what you're programmed. You see a possibility of intimacy, warmth, love, what you're programmed to be interested in. And the fear of not getting what you're so close to makes you nervous. What I'm suggesting to you is, don't treat her like a prey. Respect her. Like her. Not how you would be acting on your hormones and programs for intimacy. Don't just focus on that this is a girl, I'm a boy, and a possibility of sex is there. No, get to know her, her consciousness, her person, her existence. She's far more than sexual object. She's far more than, and she probably treats you a lot more than a sexual possibility, as a person. She wants to get to know you, and you do the same. Try to get to know her. Focus on her mind. You've already liked her, how she looks. She already likes you, how you look. Now focus on her mind as she's focusing on your behavior. So think of her as she is, which is a lot more than the physical entity that you're actually thinking she is, and affecting your hormones and your, all that we are programmed to. So go beyond that and try to interact with this entity, with this intelligence, with this person, with this human, rather than just the rest of it. So when you focus on interaction and exchange of information with her, then you will not be nervous anymore, because you're not focusing on what your desires, ego, and hormones are trying to pounce on. You will tell them, settle down, boys. We are in presence of a lady, and we want to impress her not with our manners, with our behavior, with our connection on the consciousness level. We want to make her feel comfortable, and we want to make her feel safe, and we want to enjoy a good conversation and activity of our choices. Then you will be very comfortable, because you, in your mind, have now programmed yourself not to have any devious things in your mind. In that way, then no longer you're hunting for that what you're programmed to hunt, and therefore you have no reason to be nervous because you've already taken care of that. You've said no to the boys, and you're now focusing on getting to know her with kindness, with respect, with attention, with genuine conversations, and finding out about her consciousness as she's trying to be interested to know who you are. And who you are and who she is in here. The rest will come when it's time right, when the time is right. All right, let's go to Amritpal Jason. We broke up a year and a half ago, but I started to think about her a lot and miss her and IDK. Oh, and I don't know. Is that what it is? And I don't know why. Okay. So you broke up a year and a half ago, but I started to think about her a lot, and you may say, well, you started thinking about her a lot? That's a normal default of any boy who's just broken up. Whenever, you see, look, boys are constantly thinking about sex and intimacy. That's how we're put together. You know, the boys who like girls, that's how they're put together. In your genes, in your program, you're constantly looking for, you know, possibility of procreation. That's what our program is. And some people have different programs in their genes. We're talking about this scenario. So for that reason, you're constantly thinking about sex. Depends on different people. Every minute, every 10 seconds, every 20 seconds, every 5 seconds, depending on what mood one is and what focus one has at that moment. The busier you are, the lesser you will think. But anyhow, naturally, you'll be thinking about sex all day long, many different times. And so, because of that, naturally, when you think about sex, the last relationship that you had, the real relationship, not one night stands, the last relationship with emotion that you had is the girl that comes to your mind. It's just the way it is. You will always, it's not like you're thinking of her, you're missing her. You're thinking of sex because that's what you're programmed to think. And because of that, then it points toward the last girlfriend, last girl that you were intimate with, or you were in love with, or you had, you know, any kind of a sexual experience or intimacy experience with emotions. It's just simply you think of sex, you think of her. You think of sex, you think of the last girl that you had a relationship with. And that's just the default. So the reason you're thinking of her, you're missing her a lot because you actually don't have another relationship. So naturally you keep thinking about sex and relationship, and then by default the last girl that you had an experience with comes to your mind. So it's really not her that you're missing the idea of relationship, idea of having a girlfriend, and it happens to be that's the information that is in your consciousness. That's the last example, it's the last experience, and by default that's on forefront of your memory stack, and that's the one that is pointed towards by your memory. It's the freshest one. So then you think, oh, I'm thinking of her. You're not thinking of her. You were thinking about sex. And then she comes in as a default pointer when you think of sex, the last one that you had any contact with of that sort comes to your mind. Then you think, oh, why am I thinking of her more? Well, you open your eyes and socialize with other girls and find good friends and bond on conscious level, and then when you guys are both have consents and you're of course of legal age, and then you will find that no longer you're thinking about the previous one and you're thinking about the one that you're with. You're now with the present moment of life. And now the reason that you think of her is because it's a breakup, and you think like, oh, something's diminished from me because she broke up with me, or you broke up with her. However it is, you still feel like something's missing because you had that you were used to that order, that whole process of things being done during the day. Your mechanical process was including her. Now that is changed, and even though it's been few months, but you still feel like, how can I prove myself that I'm just as good as I used to be when I was with her? Because she doesn't want me anymore. So that might mean that I'm not as good as I thought I used to be. And these are thoughts that goes through your mind because you're conditioned to think that way and compare yourselves and get your affirmations from a woman. And that is the way we are programmed, because a woman is so important to us. We have all kinds of reasons why woman is so important to us. And therefore, you think, having been broken up with the relationship that you had with this girl, that now doesn't affirm you and that has affected you, still you're trying to prove, no, is something wrong with me, or am I still okay? It'll all be fine, and there's nothing wrong with you. People have different tastes or grow differently, and they break up, and that's okay, that's normal. But until you actually understand this and also go on and get busy with your life and eventually meet somebody else, you may keep from time to time come back to this and think, oh, how can I make this, fix this? There's no need to fix, everything is fine. You just were in a relationship, experience something, it's duration finished, and you're gone. That's it. So I hope that would be something helpful to you, and you can simply focus on your life, and you will see what other things life has in store for you. Joper says, I feel being in a relationship makes me more confident. It's true. And I miss the intimacy. Yes, I know it's true. Good that you understand that. Excalibur says, Mehran, there is this book called okay then. Okay, enjoy it. Enjoy it. And there's this book called How to Get Over Anyone in a Few Days. I see. Okay, good. I like your shirt, Mehran. Bernard says, okay. Looks dope. Yes, it's one of my favorite shirts. It's what is it? It's the one that I first saw in Hawaii. It's a Hawaiian style shirt, but it's Tommy Bahamas. Yeah, Tommy Bahamas. I like these sort of leisure looking shirts. Tanya says, hi Mehran, 31 years Norway. Okay, hello. Let me just make a quick comment. Excalibur, the reason I didn't read your message completely as far as what the book is and who's written it, because I don't know about that book. So I don't want to sound like I'm endorsing anything that I don't know about. If I had read something that was good, then maybe I would know what it is and I could, talk about it. But because I don't know, but I know what I'm talking about, so I want to focus on that. That's why I didn't read the name of the book or who wrote it, because I don't want to sound like I know what that book is all about, and I don't want to endorse it. Maybe it's something that I wouldn't agree with, or maybe something's good or bad. But because I don't know, I shouldn't sound like it's something that I would want people read it. I don't know what they have written, so if you think it's good for you, great. That's all it counts. Now, Tonya says, hi Mehran, 31 years Norway. Hello, Norway. Norway is one of the few countries I really like to see. I hear so much civility in that country, so many good social programs for people and caring about people. And she says, what is your take on the philosophy of Jordan Peterson? I don't know about that philosophy. I don't know that person. I don't know anything about that person, Tanya. Sandy, hello Sandy. Sandy says, hello Mehran. It was very hot day again today in the UK. Really? Well, that's normal though. It's almost, it's like it's mid-April right now. That's for sure. Well, we are here kind of abnormal. We're still on the cold side. Not that cold, but it's good. I like it, but not hot days or sunny days. It's pretty cool in here. Your metaphor regarding I do not ready. I do not ready. When did you use that? I do not ready really made me laugh, as your response was to do with wrestling. Was it? I can't remember what it was. This may sound cryptic to you. Yeah, it does. I do not ready really made me laugh, as your response was to do with wrestling. Oh, I think I remember something, but I'm not sure. Anyhow, I'm laughing already. Oh, I do not feel ready. I think I remember I was talking about, are you going for wrestling? Yeah. I remember it was a response to one of the questions. Yes, it was. When I listened to some of these back, I cracked myself up. Because when I'm actually responding to questions, I really have no idea what I'm going to say. Because everything is here, and it's like you throw a tennis ball at me, and it hits there, where depending on where it hits, all kinds of information is going to be bounced back with it. Depends on what angle, what speed, where it hits. So there's all kinds of things here that is ready for a response, but I have no idea, because I don't know where and how the trajectory or this velocity of this thing is thrown at, and where it's going to hit, and what kind of information is going to wrap around this question and come back. But so when I listen to some of them, I actually say it was actually quite pleasantly funny. Tony says, okay, thank you for your answer anyway. He's a Canadian psychologist, philosopher, and I was curious, as he is a bit controversial. Either way, thanks for a good talk as always. You're welcome, Tanya. My apologies, I don't know these people, or many people. I only know things that I have researched and made sense to me, and I focused on that, and therefore I progress on that and build on that, and it's just like a train has started moving, and the more I travel, this faster speed it gains, meaning more information comes to me, and I constantly ponder day and night throughout my day. No matter what I'm doing, I'm always using examples that I encounter with or comes as a question, and I ponder even when I'm driving about certain things, how it can open up certain obstacles in understanding our psyche, and why we react in this way or that way, and how can I get to the roots of it and bring that understanding from the center of the matter, open it up, peel everything out, and bring it out for you guys, for everybody to quickly understand why they're reacting, why they're acting, why they're being affected this way, and understand where is it that they should be focusing. And instead, you know, life is sometimes like a magician's act. You're focusing on something while really somewhere else everything is happening, and it's like you're being misdirected. And the same thing in our own mind. We're focusing on certain thing. You're focusing on the girl, you're focusing on the relationship, you're focusing on the pain that you think is coming from her, but really everything else is happening somewhere else. As we talked about just a while ago on a video that I made about desire, where the breakup pain comes from. And I think that's actually, I have to say, marvelous video. A brilliant video, if I may say so, because it really cuts through your misdirection and brings you back that the pain comes from you, not the ex. The ex is gone, doing whatever it is he or she is doing. You have a pain because your desire is creating that pain. You got to understand the steps that it takes for desire to be born, and where is it that that desire is being refreshed, and why is it that you're in pain? Because desire is constantly being refreshed. And why is it being refreshed? And you got to remedy that, and then the pain becomes aware. You become aware of where the pain comes from, and all that is what I focus on. And therefore, I'm really not so familiar with other people's work, and so it's not fair to make comment on them. At the same time, I don't know what they've said, why they've said, but I just know how I come up with understanding through the same manner of the masters of 100 years ago that they started teaching, and I learned through my research on their work, which was all internal. I haven't read anybody's book. I haven't even read that teacher's book, but I've listened to thousands of hours of discussions he's had with psychologists around the world who would gather around, ask their questions from him, and wonder what is his take on that. And he would explain to them how they can all together explore inwardly, not to take his word. And that's the same thing here. I don't want you guys to take my word. That's what I try to explain, so you can see it in your own psyche, not because I say so. I want you to feel it. That's, if you look at all my videos, it's lots of lecture and explanations and detail. Why? I can do like other people in the world, 2-minute excerpt, and tell you something, and you say, wow, enlightenment, and then you really don't know why. But my intention is for you to become your own explorer. Go inside your own psyche and see it. Not because I say, because you can see it. So I'm only directing to where you should look, but you do the looking. And that's why, you know, I continue that way. And that's why I don't know about many other people, what they've said and why they've said it. But I know why I'm saying it, because I can back it up. Back it up by asking you to look into your psyche for yourself. Look. It's yours. Nobody can tell you who you are, how you should understand something better than you. But only if you know how to. It's like all I'm giving you is just a magnifying glass. That's it. You know? You're the one who looks into the jewel, the diamond. If it's just got any cracks, what is it made of? It's not the jeweler looking like, oh, this diamond, is this wrong with it? Well, just because he said so. Get the thingy and look at it and see. And that's what I'm trying to do, giving you that little, whatever it is, that you can look through it and through yourself. So I'm hoping that you will understand what I'm trying to do here. That's why I don't know about who said what and why they said. That's why I don't necessarily can't respond. Now, actually, so no worries, Mehran. I was just reminded of the similarities. Okay, good. Okay. Sandy says, haha, you are so funny and cheer me greatly. Okay, good. Kylo says, have you read? I mean, now we got all kinds of other books coming. No, I haven't read any other book. I just explained. Okay, good, Kylo. Good. Everybody enjoy whatever it is that you guys read. It's just that I'm only focused and would like to be knowledgeable about what I do, what I say. So that would, at least I know the effects of it on people as much as I can help to be positive. Otherwise, I have no idea what other people have done or want to do, and I'm sure they want to help, so you decide. So that's as much as I have to say about that. All right, now letting back to what we were doing here. Nasro is here, but there is no message. Okay. Okay, looks like Nasra said, "My dear Mehran, you look great. Blue collar." Yes, that's right, that's right. It's one of my favorite shirts. I really like it. It reminds me if I'm in Hawaii. Wishful thinking, you know. It's all right. It's all right. we all need hope. Now, and you guys seems to be hearing me, but you don't respond to my questions. What about the thumbnails? Have you guys looked at the thumbnails? I mean, I'm so excited about it and trying to change them all, and I wonder if you guys can give me a little feedback on it. And by the way, click on the likes, guys. We're getting there. Click on the likes. Don't ease up. And also take a look at the thumbnails, the recent thumbnails. You can see it if you just go on the channel quickly. You can see it's right there on a different screen. Don't cut off here. And as I mentioned, Alper is helping me in figuring out new designs, and it's, to me, it's like exactly what I've been looking for. Tanya says, do you think there is one aspect of a relationship that is more important to be similar to your partner than others? Oh, what a good question. Yes. Tolerance and recognition of the fact that consciousnesses of the two are different. They're built differently, conditioned differently. It is okay to have divisions in understanding, in perception. It's because of difference in consciousness. If you're aware of this and you're similar in understanding this between you two, you guys will have a chance to look at each other with an understanding that you guys are, and it's okay to be different. You cannot expect to be exactly the same. You can discuss what makes you comfortable and what you think is more proper in representing you as a couple in a society, and the ways you would like others to see you as, and yourselves to represent each other in the society by your way of behavior and interaction with other people. These are things between you two. But between you two personalities and ways of seeing things and perceiving things about life, you need to each be similar in understanding the mechanism of the consciousness, to be okay, not shocked every time that you see one of you reacted differently towards something. And then you find that an insult or against being cohesive with the other one, rather than it's just his or her perception. And because of the way the conditioning of his or her consciousness is, it's not meant to defy you or to be against you or not to be the same or similar as you are with you. It's just the way his program conditioning is guiding him to do. If you guys each understand this concept, then you will be able to be more inclined to talk with each other, to recognize these differences, to be the normality of each of you, not abnormality in a relationship. A relationship means you guys like each other physically and want to tolerate each other and try to learn each other, how each one of you ticks. It doesn't mean that one becomes a slave or one becomes a copy or clone of the other one. And if not, then suddenly the betrayal has happened. No. And this is what I think the two should be similar. The rest of it is nonsense. It cannot be. It's unreasonable to think that it should be more than a certain amount. Yeah, of course, there are certain things that are similar and, you know, all that. Yeah, we know all that. But the things that are not, we're talking about, it's normal. And with discussion, perhaps, reasoning, perhaps, but some things It's just I've been a different process of, you know, upbringing, and you can't change that conditioning by just because you love someone. Well, that's a different story. All right. Such as introversion, extroversion, a degree of openness. Yeah, I think we just touched on that. These are all depending on how they've been conditioned in their consciousness, and you can maybe through taking this as a project between the both of you, recognizing that maybe we should or maybe we shouldn't. But again, all that, it depends on how you feel comfortable in the field of the known. What has been introduced to you, your consciousness. You want to be introverts. Is it because you're just shy, or is it because you're actually having a great time being in analyzing things while you're going through and not needing so many people in order to interact and be distracted and feel like you're part of something when you're already part of something, and that something is the world? Sometimes people think the people who are actually connected to the nature and with the world and they're happy with themselves, they're lonely. They're not. They're actually, some of them maybe, but some of them are actually with the whole entirety of life. And they call him introverts. He's not introverts. He wants to be, because his introversy is actually totally, extrovert. He's with the whole world, but he's not necessarily with other people's activities and parties and interactions and society rhythm and things that has been conditioned for other people to be. He's just with the purity of the whole, and they call him introverts. Well, he's not necessarily. So you have to focus. The meaning of being introvert is also different between the two couples. You have to understand what his conditioning is, what his process of thinking is, what is the field of the known entails in him or her, and then the introvert or not. But you are actually calling him or her introvert based on what you are. Not that if that kind of introvert is being good or bad. You don't know. You don't know in his brain that he's actually free when he's by himself or herself. Because he's not lonely. He's alone. He's all one. He's all with the nature. He sees everything without distraction when he's by himself. And he chooses where to go. Or she chooses where to go, who to be with. There's a tremendous feeling of freedom and brilliance and responsibility and innovative approach in being alone. And sadly, some people call that person introvert. But introvert could be a very positive thing for him or her. But depending on where it's coming from, some people can't stand being alone. They think being alone means in the life, being lonely. But some people have a great time. They're innovative, they're talented, they can ponder, they can come up with things, ideas, they're artistic, they're inventive, they are ponderers, they're philosophers. It all happens when you're by the nature, by yourself. To think, focus and pure about something that you want to discover and find harmony, and then publish that and help other people to learn a little bit more about themselves. Anyhow, go a little bit too far with that. So Tanya says, okay, we did that. Okay, Kylo says, yeah, I saw the thumbnails. I think if the thumbnails will be the same, and then the titles should be very short and catchy to attract attention. Yeah, it is. That's exactly it is. The titles are very short compared to how the actual titles are. You see, the thumbnail titles are very, very short, not the same as what the actual title is. So, but you know, it can only be as short as long as it doesn't lose the meaning and invitation of what this is all about. So it can only be so short. If you make it too short, everybody starts guessing what that means. It comes to 1 or 2 words. At least it should be like 4 words. So I'm trying to make it as short as possible without losing its meaning. Nastro says, it's my favorite color also. Oh my God, thank you, Mehran. Okay, good, okay. Yeah, it is kind of a interesting blue. Some kind of a, I don't know, there's a little bit of a silky feel to it, I guess. It's the shine of it. And Robert says, the thumbnail was nice. I've noticed the videos that get lots of views are based on title, like how to know a girl likes me, how to seduce anyone, how to get the girl. Yeah, I know, Robert, but I am totally against such titles that are demeaning. How to seduce anyone, I would never put that on a title, because it's just not proper. I don't want anybody to be seduced. Therefore, I'm not going to add that. I'm not going to help anybody. I'm not going to say anything. Maybe you want to say, you know, how to present yourself better. I mean, that is a positive title, and that is a positive, that probably would have a positive message. But the idea of how to get the girl, I mean, this whole way of saying it to me is against my nature, because it's demeaning to a girl. How to get the girl? What is she? A rabbit? A prey? A meat? Is that the outset of mine to go after a woman instead of going with positive attitude for interaction, loving, respecting, protecting? The whole outset, the first step, is bringing a different suggestion, and actions comes after suggestions if one is not aware that the suggestion is not worthy of action and is not proper. So such ideas, I try to stay away and try to make my thumbnails not focus just on getting clicks, but focus on also it making a positive reaction and effect, while keeping, you know, the value of a woman to the highest level as possible, because that is how a real man should think about a woman, regardless of the fact that, yeah, everybody wants to get to know them, but it should be a process of getting to know them, not to seduce. That is a negative connotation which leads to negative approach, and these are not something that I want to advocate at all. Okay, now I'm sure you agree with that. It just we're trying to help the clicks, but I really like to get the clicks on good merits. Tonya says, okay, thank you, good point. Okay, you're welcome. Reese says, random question, okay, for this evening, Mehran, but in your own opinion, how long should you typically be in a relationship with someone before considering moving in with them? Well, let's put it this way. Let's say when it shouldn't be, because really when it should be, there is really no way to know, because it depends on the whole direction of the relationship, the whole purpose of each individual in the relationship, what their purpose of being in this relationship is, what is their hope to gain, what is their intention of being in that relationship. All of that makes a difference in the, you know, so there's no way to be able to say what time, how long, because there's so much involved in there, and it's all in the consciousness of each one of them. I don't know what's in their heads, so I don't even think, no matter how long they're together, maybe some of them should never be moving together, because I really don't know what they're, you know, hoping to achieve. Now, having said that, provided if they're both having similar or the same intention of the relationship. They want to be together, they want to make it work, they want to build something, they have been together for a while, they have seen how each one of them acts and reacts and negotiate their daily lives. They are comfortable with that, and they both want to move toward a more cohesive or unity, not just in mind, also in a physical space. Then that's the time they would decide. But definitely you shouldn't be in the first week, 2 or a month or 2 or 6 months, unless they're just moving together because they just want to move together, but they know it's not the reason for moving in is not to give a different turn into their relationship, is not looking for permanence. That's not their reason to moving together. Well, they can move together and just, enjoy, get up and go to work and so on and so forth. It's like a casual moving together. Maybe for a week, for 2 weeks, for a month, and but still they have their own separate domain, but they're just living together while they have their own places, and they haven't moved out with all their things. It's just that's the fun thing. That's okay, which should be part of stages before 2 people actually move in. So it's not like, okay, we decided to move in, so let's give up each. One gives up the apartment and moves in. No, even if you guys are together for a while, let's say for a year or so, or 2 years, and now you feel like everything is really okay, let's talk about moving in together. Even then, you should still keep your apartment and then move in on temporary basis. Sometimes there, sometimes not, or sometimes bunch of days there, and then some of your stuff there, and you do your laundry at home and come back and stuff like that. So it's again a trial, and because so many things can happen, suddenly you dump yourself in someone else's apartment, or the two of you dump yourselves in the same space. There's no conditioning to get used to that environment. The shock of it itself might ruin your relationship, where the relationship was actually meant to work and was going okay. You just become, too weird, unfamiliar. So ease into it, even if you decide to do that. And that should not take place within the first 6 months or a year at all, or even 2 years. I don't know. But partial movement, just to check things out and, have fun and, feel good and get closer and, get to know each other more, that's okay. All right. Robert says, I know Mehran would have noble standards compared to the channels who cater to desire. Okay, good, thank you. Alexandra says, hi there, Mehran. Hello, Alexandra. Well, maybe you can help me with an advice. Okay. Although I know the relationship I had with my ex was not that good, when I see him at university, hurts me really bad. Well, you're a human being. You have so much emotions and memories, and as you know, we human beings are blessed with this mechanism that we usually remember good things about our relationship, past relationships. Like the first thing comes to mind is not the bad stuff, the problems. It comes to mind how good it was, the good stuff. The fun, the softness, the intimacy, the kindness, the cohesiveness, the compatibility and all that. When you dig deeper, and then you got to find for all those things that actually caused it not to work and caused you to realize the divisions and conflicts and things that were different and were not reconcilable. They were not something that you could change. And those were the reasons that you really decided you don't want to be with that girl, or vice versa, however the situation was. In order for you to help yourself is to see the person as he or she is, not as one snapshot of the relationship and how it was at some point in that relationship in the past, which is usually the good points. Don't use that as the representation of the whole relationship with that person, or the person's behavior and standards or characteristics as a whole, which that will mislead you thinking, oh, you missed something good, and then you start feeling sad, or miss the person, or all that. Always try to see the person as it was. At least focus on the reasons that you guys broke up, and not on the intimacy and the lovey-dovey and the comfortable parts, which is always going to be at the forefront of your memories in that scenario about that relationship, which is going to be misleading and make you feel the way you do. As I mentioned in this program already about the steps that desire needs to be born, and all those steps already exist in your memory. So when you think of the good stuff, also the steps necessary for the desire to be born comes along with it, if you don't censor them, if you don't watch out, if you don't be aware of that they're also part of the files that are coming along, which will then make you to react to those emotional files and make you feel like the desire is now being refreshed and born, and that desire that is now reborn is what's causing you to feel sad or think you missed the person. But if you be aware that a bunch of files that you don't really want them to come up are coming to affect you, you say, hey, stop here, files. I didn't ask for this. Let me just put you back there and focus on the files that tells me why this girl and I, or this person and you, your boyfriend and you, are not together. Then you've just balanced it out. You saw the person, some bunch of good memory came to your mind, because that's what the characteristic of human being is at the first moment when you think of or see someone in a past relationship. And then quickly you balance it with the other stuff, and then you say, okay, I know what it is. I'm not perceiving it, I'm seeing it as it is. Therefore, no big deal. I'm not affected. That's what you should do. Robert says, I believe when people search for a relationship video, they choose more base things. I admire the mature approach offered here, the roots of the issues. Robert, thank you. Alexander says, I still care about him, but the problem is we don't meet each other at consciousness level. Okay, then you know the answer. Then you should focus on that and not focus on the fun part, Just look at it differently. Forget about relationship. Forget about a relationship with your boyfriend. Think about friends that you have, female friends that you have. So there is no, in your case, there's no sexuality or anything there. It's just female friends. Don't you have female friends that you're actually so different from them, but in certain forums, certain situations, you're really compatible with them? Like, at least you're having fun with them. Like, when you go to, I don't know, to a bar or to a disco and you're just rowdy and she's just, it seems that you want to let loose and she's all there for you there, and ha 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 and bullshit and nonsense and careless stuff, and you're totally mentally and background and possibly in education or taste or class or whatever that you're used to is totally different with each other. But at that level of going to a movie and both liking a certain kind of a movie, And that would be the girl you choose to go to that kind of movie rather than the ones that you really have things in common with. Because in that movie selection, the ones that you're really close friends, consciously hitting it off well, they're not compatible in your choice of that kind of a movie. So you choose this one, which you're totally different in every aspect. Family background, behavior, what you eat, what you do, where you go, and how you, all of that. But for that particular thing, she's the most qualified. She's the best choice. So this the same thing happens that with some people, you choose them and you're okay with them in certain arenas, in certain environments. But that doesn't mean because you guys are okay and compatible in that particular level, then that is a representation of that you guys should be together. Like we're now going back to your boyfriend. So you got to understand that. So what are you really missing? You're trying to take this particular venue, particular level, and you say because we are compatible and we are okay here, then therefore that should be enough reason for you to choose him for the whole array of interactions that comes with a relationship. Then you're shooting yourself in the foot. All right, so and that girl that you go ha 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 in a disco or movie with for certain compatibility that you guys have, you don't take her to places that you actually don't have things in common with her, and you're aware of that. But when it comes to your boyfriend or you guys or your girlfriend, you're not aware of that. You think one okay scenario, compatibility, there should be a good reason to choose that. And in your cases mostly is the intimacy part. And you should understand that the long-lasting relationship is about how well the whole package concept of relationship works between you two, not just bits and pieces, because that's exactly why between this bit and piece that works, this in between is all the reasons that why it's going to break up eventually anyhow. I mean, the best of relationships still has so many reasons to break up because the consciousnesses are so complicated and so different and so much fragment in there, let alone if actually you can see the differences and you just become oblivious and let them go. So you're not really doing yourself a favor. J-Mania 82 says, first off, your channel helped me a lot. My girlfriend for the last 3 years, we finally broke up a month ago, and that is not what hurts me. But all of a sudden, she shocked me fully and told me she has changed and wants nothing to do with me anymore and seemed to act like I was nothing and never dated. Why does that hurt so much? It shouldn't hurt, because it's not a reflection on you. It's a reflection on her. I don't know what the story is, but just guessing in the air, she's probably now found some other guy that she's trying to impress. She feels she's less than that guy, and she thinks by actually denying the fact that she was in love with you and she had a relationship with you, it will help her to elevate herself, to make herself fully available for this Jack that she seems to be infatuated with. So it's just the expression saying Jack, and whoever's name is Jack here, that's not meant to be meaning to you. Just I had to say something. So it's a reflection on her. It's not a reflection on you. It shouldn't hurt you. You are hurting yourself because you think she is a currency to your worth and value. You are treating yourself without enough respect, and you're thinking of her higher than you, which makes her opinion about you make a difference in your image of yourself, in yourself, by yourself. Don't. Let her do what she wants to do. She wants to go and just do whatever she's doing, put somebody trying to elevate herself by sucking up to someone to the point that she actually wants to deny having been with you. That's her problem. That's her way of covering up her lack of confidence, her shortcomings. It's got nothing to do with you. In fact, that will tell you how happy you should be that you're not with this girl of such a weak character, that she actually thinks her own choice was a mistake. Not for the reason that it has been a mistake, it's for the reasons that she wants to use it to prove to herself that she is now deserving that other guy that she thinks is a better choice for her. So in other words, she really doesn't know who she is. So go jubilant, be jubilant, go celebrate that you got out of that mess. And Jayma continues saying, I guess I'm shocked someone can change all emotions and move on so fast. No, don't be shocked. Some girls are like that. There's so many wonderful, beautiful, classy girls, women in this world, and just as many, there's so many low-grade, just unreasonable gold diggers, lack of confidence, lack of class. Also here, this is a relative world. We live in a relative world. There's plus and minus. And the same token, there's so many guys, so many assholes in this world, and so many wonderful young men and men of culture and class and so on in this world. So it's just not about what they think about you. It's about you see why they think the way they think about you or about themselves. Don't care about what they do. Focus on your own life. And he continues, this is, I think it's a sitcom. I mean, it's going to go on for a few weeks. No, I'm just kidding, Jay. He continues this, also, I do use your advice and think to why we broke up and try to be understanding to why, but I guess I'm having a hard time with the why and not explain why and act like 3 years never happened. Okay. Also, I do use your advice and think to why we broke up and try to be understanding to why, but I guess I'm having a hard time with the why and not explain why and act like 3 years never happened. Who, you or her? Jane says, thank you so much. You helped me so much and helped me with my anxiety. Don't have anxiety. Nothing worth your health and your enjoyment and recognition of how big this world is. Take the virtual reality goggle off of your head. Stop focusing on this relationship as it was the only thing available in the screen, and the screen is your world. Take the goggle off. You will see there's so many wonders, so many opportunities, so many projects to learn and research, so many things to be interested in, so many women out there, so many different class and understanding and the level of consciousness in other women out there. Just don't be so hasty and impatient. You just had one relationship, for God's sake. She cannot represent the whole entirety of the women in this world. There's so many wonderful women in this world, and I understand that time has changed and many women have lost their way of being who they're meant to be and they're supposed to be or they want to be. There's so many bombardment of all these bullshit television programs and movies and ideas and suggestions and the money and the being a gold digger and trying to get things for nothing and all these and being lazy and not make anything out of themselves has promoted them to encourage them to just go for these shallow relationships or this and that, so forth, because that's the way and the trend of the time is. But there's still wonderful, classy, deep, hardworking, intelligent, beautiful women out there that they're also looking for decent men, which I know there are so many decent men also looking for wonderful women, and also there are lots of assholes too. So both should look for quality rather than be bamboozled by all these shenanigans and posturing and images and bullshit. Just cut through that, and don't doubt yourself. If somebody doesn't like you, okay, respect that, but respect yourself too. So big deal. Who died and left them in charge of your worth and value? I like you, so you're good. Oh, I don't like you, so you know nothing. This is what most boys think, and don't stop that. Your worth and value is not in the hands of women. While it is very important to be kind and nice and cordial and respectful and protective of the woman that you're in a relationship with, and respect all women, regardless if they like you or don't like you. Be a gentleman. There are women out there looking for real men, and real men are good men, are kind men, are men with character, not abusive behavior or devious intentions. And Kylo says, what piece of advice do you think is most important to know when dealing with interracial relationship? Nothing. Just simply do what you usually do. Respect and value, understanding and learning about the woman that you're meeting. What difference does it make what race they are? Look, people are born in different parts of this world, and according to their climate and so on, the genes modified themselves and tried to protect and bring the best equipped for that environment. So some of us are of different looks and color of skin or height or whatever, depending on what was carried in our genes for the whole experience of life, environment, culture, hardship, comfort, preferences, or whatever it was, you know, the food we ate, the climate we were living in, the hunter experiences, or whatever, wars, or whatever. It was all conditionings happen. So what that has to do with what's in the brain? That hasn't changed. That's been always functioning the way it was. It's conditioned because of things. It has a certain understanding, the memory records 24/7, and all these we talked about, thoughts, consciousness, fear, desire, and ego. They're all functioning in the same level in every human being of any race, creed, or background, or whatever, you know, color of skin and shape of face and whatever it is. So you just focus on that person, a human being, and a human being is in here, not out here. That is just a box, a presentation, wrapping paper. That's how you have a physical image. But the human being is inside here. How it interacts with the world, interacts with the energy of the universe, what kind of energy flows through it, what kind of things he has been exposed to, what kind of things he has preferred to learn and conducts himself or herself, what kind of attitude he has towards the other people, how it affects the society and community and the people around him or her. This is what makes a human being. What is his intention about other humans and how he helps them or brings harm to them. These are what decides how we judge other human beings. Not the way they look, or their color, or their religion, or the way they come from, where they were born. All these are reasons to separate and deprive us from harmony and love and creating of a good world for us. Don't fall into that shit. Don't fall for that shit. It's all plans by devious entities in this world to create division between people, and not to let this world, this life experience, to be the heaven that we are all seeking for. Instead, the greed and everything else, corporations and so on has gone far and tried to get people against each other in order to benefit from it. Don't fall for it. So respect women, coming back to our discussion, based on who they are. And the woman, respect men based on who they are, in here, how they react with the world and with you, and with themselves, with their families, and so on and so forth. All right, let's go back to Jay says, okay, we talked about that. And Alexandra says, thank you very much, you're welcome. And Jay says, you always have perfect words. Okay, good. Jay says, I will spread the word of this channel. Well, domo arigatou gozaimashita. Domo arigatou gozaimashita. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup. Danke. Vielen Dank. So in any language, merci. We need that exposure. So everybody I hope everybody liked the channel, the live talk today. It helps us out. And everybody, please do share the videos that you like. Please do visit my site, mindthatseekstruth.com, and click on the books, watch the little video about each book, click on the book, open it up and see the table of contents, and then click on it again, flip it over on page by page, and you have a sample chapter to read. And then discover what the channel offers, and get the book Me, My Psyche and I highly recommend it. And if you have transient thoughts, get the transient thoughts on me. They're so dirt cheap that the same book that is $105 and $80, I've turned them into like $4.99, $5.99, $6.99. So meaning there is really no economic agenda here. Just want you guys to have a copy. It's so dirt cheap that everybody can have just the price of coffee or tea. I want you to have it on your library. When you need it, you look at it and say, oh, wow, it's interesting and it's worth it. For $5, what do you get these days? Nothing. It helps the channel. It also makes me feel I'm doing something good, because I want you guys to have it. Otherwise, by the time PayPal gets their cut and the marketing costs and all that, there is no money in it. So if that's your concern, that I'll be rich with it, don't be. Just get the book. Nasro says, you are what we need. This modern day honestly, and I like it. And I like it. You're tough. Love, really. I appreciate everything you've done for us. Well, my pleasure, Nasro. I'm glad that you enjoy the channel. The whole intention is many folds. One is that I love what I do. The second is that I want to help as many people as I can. Genuinely, I do feel the role that I felt for my son. I want you guys understand how to deal with this life. If I could instill a little bit of the wisdom that you guys will eventually get at the older age, that I have done something. So that's another motivation that I have. And of course, the other motivation is that I want this channel to be successful, so there will be economic results, meeting my standards and what I'm looking for, which is no secret. Everybody's doing something in order to meet the economic requirements, which would help me to do even more things that I want to do in many aspects of life, including expansion of what it is that we're doing here, which is reaching more people around the world and helping them to understand nothing is worse than having pain inside, being fearful and having pain and anxiety about these relationships, about what this world is. What am I seeing? Is that what I'm seeing really what it is, or it's just a perception of it? Understanding our own psyche. These are important. It's so important. And after 62 years, within few months, 63, I have understood that this calling has been nagging me from childhood, and eventually universe made me ready. But it took that long. 57 years. And I want to share that, because if that would mean some of that wisdom, so to speak, or experience, or my finding, can help some of you at this age, which you would know these sort of things, then I've done something that I would be proud of myself, because the whole idea is that we each are part of this puzzle. And if we can bring to the whole mix something that helps make life a little bit easier for the ones who don't have the tools yet, well, that's the idea, isn't it? Instead of focusing on all the other things, it's just pleasure and greed and personal gains. Well, I love personal gains like anybody else, but I also like the gain that it could be added to everybody else from my efforts and my intentions. Anyhow, enough said. I'm no saint. So Sally says, hey, hi again, great to see you again. So you talk a lot about mind. Do you think body needs to work out too for mind to be relaxed? Well, it is no doubt that body needs to be fit and needs to work out in order to have its circulation and its mechanism work perfectly. No different than a car sitting in the parking for 2 years. Everything is just sitting there, not worked out. The engine block is not getting hot enough to be prepared for and get a more experience in its own function, in its own its own way of curing, so to speak, and everything else would start working as good as it would. And movement is good for a healthy body. When the body wants to be healthy and is healthy, movement is encouraged, because movement makes muscles work, circulation work, and all that, and brings you to a certain level that I could speak to about it when we have a meditation session that I will show you what I mean here, but I try to explain it in a different way here. When the body has had a workout, naturally its rhythm falls with the rhythm of the nature, and the thoughts that are created in our head, which affects our body as well, would be focused on positive things such as your workout, and not deviating to focus on negative things and other stuff that creates a different kind of emotion and different kind of reaction in your body. So while you're working out, the reason that your mind also feels relaxed is because your mind is focused on what the body is doing, is directing the body to do what it's doing, a combination of mind and body coordination, and therefore the mind is not focusing on negative things or other things that brings about a certain kind of a reaction in the body, bring tension and not a balance as it should be. So that's why the mind is not engaged in negative thinking while you're having physical training, and therefore it brings about the relaxation to the mind and to the body. It's not that the body is working that brings relaxation to the mind. It's because of what body is doing and what mind is trying to help it to do is a positive things that they're both engaged in. And when you're focused on a positive thing, and your focus and your time is based on, is spent on focusing on a positive and not negative thinking, an activity, therefore it's like a meditation for the mind. That's why mind after exercise always feels very good, because training is like meditating. Because what is meditation? Meditation, when you focus your mind on one thing, on one task, which means it takes it away from any other task that comes to your mind. You're focused on one thing and you're constantly on that thing, which brings relaxation on your mind, takes the load off of your mind for thinking about other things and no concern about other things. Therefore, it takes the load off of your mind. Just like when you come from work and you sit on the couch, put your feet up and say, I take the load off of my feet. And meditation does that, takes the load off of your mind, which is focusing on one thing. So what are you doing when you're exercising, when you're playing sport? You're focusing on one thing, whether it's tennis or soccer or it's physical fitness in the gym. You're focusing on one thing, to do something right, totally focused, because you can't not focus and do a good rep or do your best at whatever it is you're doing. Whether you're doing cardio or you're doing weight training, you're focusing on one thing. And focusing on one thing is always meditation. That's why you get the same result, pretty much, in different ways, but it's almost the same result when you finish your training, whether it is any other sports training or physical training or fitness training in the gym. Your mind feels very relaxed. Why? Not because of what your body did, it's because what it wasn't doing, which was focusing on negative stuff and other matters that would occupy and bring about a different kind of reaction because of the kind of thoughts that you're producing in your mind, and your body would have reacted differently, which would bring tension and so on. This wouldn't happen when you're doing physical training. The body will be relaxed, and because the mind is also focused on something that is not negative and is not bringing tension or reaction of body tension, therefore your mind also reacts at the end. So otherwise, body has a rule and mind has a rule. They both have to be trained and be fit, and also both go through relaxation as well. And that seems to be sports seems to be doing the training for the body and training for the mind, because it looks like a meditation, and afterwards both are relaxed. So it gets them to train to be stronger, to be more focused. When you're doing sports, your body is training and your mind is focused on the training. So mind is focusing, which is the same as meditation, focusing on one thing. And then both, when it's done, both are relaxed. The body has worked out and is now relaxed, and the mind is been focusing like meditation as they relaxed. And at the same time, the whole idea of the key and energy is falling to the center of gravity of the body, which is the point that we discussed a long time ago, about 10-20 centimeters below the navel, because of the fact that you've been exercising. It usually happens in exercise. Just try something for yourself. Have somebody who's bigger than you, and he or she is healthy, put his or her hands underneath your arms, and you just stand here like that, and then have that person who's bigger than you put his or her hand underneath your arms, and you just think about something negative or something that is stressing you, or something, or nothing, you know, like that, something that is not positive, and ask that person to lift you up. Obviously, because that person is bigger than you, would be lifting you up. Now, the same place, stand the same place, same way, hands here, and shake your hands, like, you know, shake these fingers when it's falling down. I can't show it to you like this, but when it's falling on your sides, shake these hands from the wrist like this. But you know, you shake it like this, but it's your hands are dropped on your sides. So that means you're just down here, but you're shaking your hands like this, you know. This is like how it looks, but take this and put it down on your sides and do the wrists. And now shake it and shake it and shake it and shake it and shake it as fast as you can. As fast as you can. For about 1 minute. Once you stop, and then ask the person to lift you up. Same way, without touching his or her tummy to your tummy. So won't leverage it. Just like the way you did before. You will see that he can't lift you up. And you will be feeling certain flow of energy out of your fingertips. When you stop shaking, you will see something is flowing out of your fingertips. And at that moment, you ask that person to do the same test of lifting you up as they did a few seconds ago, and could lift you up. And you will see, as long as you're focusing on this stuff flowing out of your fingertips, as long as you're just doing thinking nothing, he can't lift you up. And that's against the law of physics. But it tells you there is a reason why you're relaxed, because that is when you manifest your total power. You become so powerful that even a bigger person cannot lift you up, which is against the law of physics. But it tells you there's something more than just this physical entity here. And that's why when you exercise, a fitness exercise on your body, this whole business of shaking hand happens automatically while you're doing sports. So after sports, without having shaken your hand, you will have this whole result of what we just did. You finish your gym work and you just stand here, you're so calm and relaxed. The whole thing is created, that relaxing moment again. And if you try to have the same person lift you up, again, he won't. Why? Because your mind and body both have joined at that point in lower abdomen, 10-20 centimeter, because that's what happens when you shake your hands. The whole flow of the blood and the whole flow of the energy flows down, not the blood, the flow of the energy and focus flows down to your center of gravity. Mind and body become coordinated, and the mind will be in your body rather than flowing all over the place. And that's when mind and body become coordinated, because they're both now at the same time and space. They're same in the body. But most of the time your mind is all over the place. That's why they're separated, that you can be lifted. But when mind and body both come together by this exercise or after exercise in the gym or something, your mind is relaxed and your body is relaxed. So naturally they both fall to be joined at the point lower in the lower stomach, which is that 10-20 centimeter lower the navel. They join there, and because of the relaxation results of what you did, and that creates that same feeling and same technique that is used when you're trying to do this test and the person can't lift you up. Okay, that was too much explanation at this short discussion that we want to have. However, it's not a meditation class or a martial art class, therefore we move on. But I had to explain that to you guys so you will know what that is. Don Diego says hello. Hello, Don. Good to see you. Sally says, I find meditation very hard. How long someone needs to practice meditation before it works? My brain is always thinking about 100 things. Yes, that is exactly the reason why you need to meditate. Because your whole life you've been conditioned to think of all these things, and your thoughts are flowing through because you're just simply a receiver, and you receive all kinds of thoughts that is floating all out there in the collective consciousness of the universe. And you think that these are your thoughts. Well, you're just a receiver. It's like a radio is on and you receive a music or program. Does that mean just because your radio can broadcast this, that program or that music is being made by you, by that radio? No, it's a receiver. It receives the signals from where that music is being played, that program is being broadcasted. But it's not made by this radio, but the radio has the capability to receive it. And you change the channel, it goes to a different program. It doesn't mean just because you can hear them here, they're all being made in that radio or made by you. Same thing here. When a thought comes to your head, doesn't necessarily mean you made the thought. Because you're a receiver, you can receive all these thoughts. That's why you need to know, hey, the thought is a thought, it's bullshit, it's not me, it doesn't represent me, not necessarily. So I gotta know how it works. And then I'll be free, and I won't be questioning, oh, it came to my mind, that must be, oh, I dreamt that, that must be meaning me, I am like that. No, not at all. So when you understand that, then you are free, and that's why you want to meditate, to learn how to focus, because all your life you've been conditioned not to focus. And now you want to quickly be good at meditation and say, how long should I have to do it? Well, the whole life you've been conditioned not to do it, to have a mind dissipate and distracted. Well, you know, now you gotta be patient and help it. Well, just to do 2 minutes of meditation, and then maybe 3 minutes next day, a little bit more, and so on and so forth. And that will help you. So everybody push the click that you like the live talk if you before you leave, because I don't want you to forget, we need the algorithm to work for us. Now I got to keep mentioning that. So for you to learn the meditation, you go and get my book, Me, My Psyche and Night, from my site, mindthatseekstruth.com. Go to the book section, click on the book, opens, there's a little video about the book, look at the table of content, click on the book, it'll open up, and click more. You can read a sample chapter off, and you, on the table of contents, you will see from chapter 32 to 40 something, 41 or 40. It's all about meditation, mind needs a home, and all these things. And there's elaborate, full discussion or instruction on meditation, and you can follow it and do it. And so that's simple. And then train yourself and make your mind as sharp as your body is fit, or, you know, if not, make them both fit. All right. Rachel says, very informative. Okay, I'm glad that you like it. Now, if we are caught up now, guys, if you guys don't have any other question, then I think it's time for me to say goodbye and wish you a wonderful day, and we will join again hopefully tomorrow afternoon if I can get to it. Tomorrow is going to be a little bit busy, but however, I always love to do it. Maybe I won't get to do it. I don't know. We'll see. Probably not. But I'll try to do it on Sunday. Okay, a little inner monologue here. But in the meantime, I love you all. Thank you for spending this time with me and sharing your time with me, and I appreciate it. And please do share the videos as you've been doing. It helps us. We're growing. And on your social media, share the videos that you like. Go to the playlist, The Psyche, that has nothing to do with relationships. So it has all the things to do with mind, behavior, mind movements, thoughts, consciousness, fear, desire, and ego. And the discussions are interesting there as well. And of course, over about 900 videos that we have right now about relationship breakups and why you feel the way you do, why you act and react the way you do, and what is the real core reasons for it. And these are explorations that I recommend to you and encourage you all to pay attention to, so you can become your own analyst and look inwards, not because what I say, just because what I say, but because you can see it. Go inwards and see it. That's why my videos are detailed in many of them in the form of a lecture, and many of them, of course, are short videos depending on what the subject is and what the question was and the answer to that. However, please do continue to watch the videos and encourage your friends to watch it, and let us grow as we hope to all do. Thanks for being here. I'll talk to you soon. And in the meantime, be good to yourself, to the others, and I'll talk to you later. Bye for now.